How's it going, everyone? Bass here. So some breaking news just dropped. The Green Bay Packers have officially extended guard Elgton Jenkins. The report just came out a few minutes ago from Ian Rappaport, and it states the Packers and star offensive lineman Elgton Jenkins have agreed to terms on a massive 4-year extension worth $68 million base value with a max value of $74 million. The deal, which makes him the second highest paid guard in the NFL, was done by Demarius Bilbo and Kelton Crenshaw of Clutch Sports. So arguably the biggest free agency for the upcoming 2023 season is now under contract with the Green Bay Packers for the next 4 years. And I was kind of wondering when this was going to happen because I saw no way, shape, or form of the Packers letting Elgton Jenkins walk. Although he did just tear his ACL and he started the year off a little bit rusty, he has been really, really good the second half of this season. Matter of fact, Elgton Jenkins hasn't even allowed a single pressure, let alone a sack in the last 4 games, and he's been playing at an extremely high level. And overall, through the entire year, even though he had a slow start, he still only allowed 3 sacks and 16 total pressures. So even before this hot streak, I believe it was a no-brainer to re-sign Elgton Jenkins. I mean, this dude can play any position on the offensive line. We have seen that. He can play guard, he can play center, he can play tackle, left or right. This dude is a jack of all trades. Not to mention, the deal is a really good deal, and they basically got away paying him like a guard, even though he should have got tackle money, in my opinion. Elgton Jenkins now comes in at $17 million average per year. Now, that can raise to 18.5 based on all the incentives in his contract. We'll see exactly what those are. But if we go ahead and look at the contracts on overthecap.com, he's not going to appear yet because the deal's not officially in this website yet. But if we're looking at left guard, we see Quentin Nelson is making $20 million a year. And I'd argue Elgton Jenkins is on the same level as Quentin Nelson when healthy. Then we see Bitonio's at 16, Thuney's at 16, and then if we go to right guard here, Brandon Scherf is at 16.5, and then Wyatt Teller's at 14.2. But then if we jump to something like left tackle, which honestly, Elgton Jenkins could have argued, hey, I want to be paid more like a left tackle than a guard. We see Trent Williams, $23 million. Of course, our own David Bakhtiari at $23 million. Laramie Tunzel at $22. Stanley at $19. Matthews at $18. Colton at $18. Cam Robinson at $17.5. All more average per year than what Elgton Jenkins got, which I think is insane because he's better than most of those guys. And even if we go to right tackle, Ryan Ramczyk, $19.2. Brian O'Neill, $18.5. Lane Johnson, $18. Braden Smith, $17.5. And Taylor Moton, the same amount as Elgton Jenkins, $17 million. So honestly, considering that this deal just happened compared to some of these deals that were made a couple years ago, I think this is tremendous value. Elgton tearing his ACL last year is definitely part of the reason why the Packers are to get such a good deal, but nonetheless, this dude is a all-pro lineman when healthy. As it stands right now, Elgton Jenkins is the 7th highest graded offensive guard via PFF with a 74.4 grade. And that's pretty wild considering his slow start to the year. So if he were to not be rusty off a torn ACL, I would argue he'd probably be top 3. In my opinion, this was definitely the Packers' biggest priority in terms of their free agency for 2023. Now, there's still the likes of Adrian Amos, Dean Lowry, Alan Lazard, Robert Tonyan, Randall Cobb, Rudy Ford, and Keyshawn Nixon still in the free agent pool. So they're definitely going to have to sign a lot of those guys as well. But I do believe Elgton Jenkins was the first step, so I'm glad they got this done before the season even ended. Because if they were to allow this to go on any longer and maybe allow Elgton Jenkins to test free agency, I'm willing to bet a team would pay him more than $17 million a year, and more so pay him as a left tackle and give him left tackle money. So like I said, I think this is wonderful, wonderful value for Elgton Jenkins. This also means the entirety of the Packers offensive line is under contract next year, depending on what they do with Josh Nijman, who is a restricted free agent. And I would 100% assume they'd put at least a second-round tender on Josh Nijman and keep him on this football team for cheap. So that's keeping consistency and allowing the same offensive line group for yet another year, which is really, really key. I'm just really ecstatic about this deal. Elgton Jenkins isn't even 27 yet. He's about to turn 27, and this deal ties him till he's 31 years old. And we see all around the league, guards are still playing at all-pro level at 31 years old. So the fact that we're getting this guy in his prime for such a good deal makes me so happy. Now, what they'll do with David Bakhtiari's contract next year and the year after that, We'll see. Is this something that they're going to pay Elgton Jenkins and then possibly, keep him at guard? Maybe Zach Tom's the future at left tackle and they end up, moving on from David Bakhtiari, saving some of that money to re-sign someone like Adrian Amos or bring back Keyshawn Nixon, Rudy Ford, and a bunch of other guys. We'll see exactly how that goes down, but nonetheless, I'm happy Elgton Jenkins is here to stay. Also, guys, just a quick reminder, I am still giving away this signed Christian Watson throwback Packers jersey. This goes on until the end of the month, December 31st. So if you want to get in on this giveaway, if you haven't already, which you definitely should because this is a awesome jersey, way to enter is go to pristineauction.com, register on their website using my code BASS, that's BAS, at pristineauction.com to enter in this giveaway. But that about does it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like down below. Hope everyone has a wonderful holiday season, and as always, go Pack Go.